Hello, everyone. My name is Kanani Makikau, and I serve as the Director of External Relations here at Cal Poly, where I oversee parent and family programs as well as commencement. I'm excited to be with you today for this special session with Director of Campus Dining, Jess Dozier, and Campus Dining Registered Dietitian and Sustainability Coordinator, Kaitlin Gibbons. Get the inside scoop on first year dining plans, learn how and where to eat on campus with no traditional dining halls, and the importance of Grubhub. Plus, resources available for navigating the first year dining experience with a dietary restriction, as well as special events and new menu items. Jess and Kaitlin, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jess Dozier. I'm the Director of Dining at Cal Poly, and with me is,
I'm Caitlin Gibbons. I'm the Registered Dietitian and Sustainability Coordinator with Campus Dining.
and this is our virtual presentation, and we're going to start off with Copeland Camp. He's one of our interns. He's going to walk through a couple things, and then we'll get into the details of everything dining.
Hey Mustangs, welcome to Cal Poly. My name is Copeland Camp, and I'm an intern here at Campus Dining. I'm here today to teach you some important tips about eating on campus. The first thing you need to know is that your dining dollars are loaded onto your Poly card at the start of every quarter. Your dining dollars work on a declining balance system, which means you spend it when you want to, and it's dollar for dollar. The next thing you need to know is that hours of operations, menus, and upcoming events can be found at dineoncampus.com/CalPoly. You can use your dining dollars at any dining venue on campus. This includes Panda Express at Starbucks and Chick-fil-A at the campus market and at PCV, including Einstein's, Taco Bell, Subway, and the market. The last place you can use your dining dollars is at Cal Poly's two main dining halls, Vista Grande and the 1901 Marketplace. Cal Poly is partnering with Grubhub to offer mobile ordering at many of its eateries. This means that you can order ahead and be notified when it's ready. Students love the flexibility and convenience that this offers. Your Grubhub account is directly tied to your Poly card, allowing you to use your dining dollars. The best part, there are no fees and subcharges. While we highly encourage students to order via Grubhub during peak hours, you can still walk up and order in person at most times and locations. We are so excited to dine with you and can't wait to meet you in the fall. Thanks for coming to our presentations, and if you have any questions, go to dineoncampus.com/CalPoly. Thanks again, and go Mustangs!
So let's get into kind of how dining plans work here, as they are a little bit unique compared to many universities, which our students love because it's a very flexible program, but it's also very different than what a lot of traditional universities do. So our dining plans are 100% declining balance, which means they are basically retail based. So you have a dollars that are loaded onto your card, and then as you use them in each of our venues, then those dollars decline. There are three meal plans to choose from. If you're a first year, those are mandatory meal plans. First year limited, total cost and total spend. Second year, second plan is the first year plus, and the third plan is the first year max. These are a little bit different in just that not only really about more dining dollars to spend, but they're really based on your lifestyle. How do you eat? If you're not a heavy eater, maybe you've got the ability to get out on the weekends a little bit, or you're closer to home, the first year limited will probably be a plan that fits you well. But if you're trying to eat 7 days a week, three meals a day on that plan, you're probably not going to make it. And it's done that way by design. So we accommodate kind of, different lifestyles on how students eat. If you're on a first year plus, generally that will be for the majority of students going to work out very, very well. It is meant to cover 7 days a week, the three meals during Monday through Friday, and then we do brunch and dinners on the weekends. And then the first year max is really meant for someone who's, going to eat quite a bit, maybe hit the markets, bring some food back to their rooms, maybe an athlete, someone who's got a very, very high calorie intake. And if you notice that there is a total cost and a total spend, and there's a difference, there is a administrative fee based or built into those meal plans. And what they are is they're to help us cover the cost of having 40 plus venues open, very, very long hours through the course of the week and have the variety and that students have asked us to have. There is some bonus dollars built into the first year max and the first year plus. Those plans are a little larger, and what we do is, in reality, what they do is they have more spend, but really they don't really cost us quite as much to operate because we've already got the people here to work, so we kind of pass some of those savings back in bonus dollars. It's $150 of extra bonus dollars in the first year plus. It's 225 in the first year max. Anywhere on campus that we serve food, these meal plans will work. Once you leave campus, your dollars don't work. Next slide, Kaitlin. So what we do within, we try to keep this plan very, very flexible. So it does require some budgeting, and we're going to talk more about how we help first years manage that through the course of the year. Because, a lot of cafeteria-based programs, you have a swipe, you just come in, you're sort of limited where you can go, and you're sort of told where you can eat. Our plan is incredibly flexible. You can eat wherever you wish. However, it does require that you manage it a bit. We allow up to $500 of your money. And what happens is that meal plan money is split into thirds. So it's not loaded all at once, and it rolls over quarter to quarter. We allow upwards of $500 to roll over automatically from quarter to quarter, and we allow 500 to roll over from year to year with the purchase of at least a small community dining plan. And the thinking behind that is very straightforward. It's to make sure that students are very successful, focusing on their, first year studying, acclimating to university. So, we're trying not to add too much, make it too complicated, but it does require that you do a little bit of budgeting. Initial meal plans can be changed up to July 30th. After that, dining plans, we have a change period from October 16th to November 13th. And what we find is that once first years are here, they're kind of in a routine in September. They get into patterns very quickly, and they learn if their meal plan is either maybe a little bit too big or a little bit too small. So we do allow a change period. We take care of all the balances. We fix all that up. And then basically you're locked in for the rest of the academic year. What if you roll low on funds? Great question. So we try to send out a lot of notification, and we pay close attention to students who maybe are on a pace where they're spending too much. We have a balance tracker within our website that shows where you should be at any given time. Sort of the average, if I'm on this meal plan on this day, I should be about here. You sort of have an average per day that you can spend, and it varies by each of those meal plans. However, you can load money at any time. They can be supplemented with a small community dining plan, and it's got some perks over a credit card in that there's no fees for you, and we build in some bonus dollars into those as well. You can use your dining dollars anywhere except the Mustang shop and concessions. We've got over 50 venues, and this includes the food trucks, and we've got a couple third-party venues on campus, Shake Smart, and there are two Subways that even though we do not operate those two venues, your dining dollars still work just as they do anywhere else. And you can find, we'll share this more kind of down the road. There's a lot of avenues for how we share information out, but downoncampus.com/Cal Poly is really going to be a lot of information there for you to kind of study, and everything can be answered there, or you just reach out to us. Next. So we've got a very, very big, diverse program, and it's very student preference driven. We meet with students, we do a lot of surveying, we have focus groups, we work with student government and, all different, housing and club groups on campus to really make sure we have a really diverse menu set that fits such a large population of students' needs. So at any given time, we have well over 1,000 menu items and 50 plus venues. We also have 4 markets. 2 of them are larger. We also have a neighborhood market, which is non-dining dollar based. That is basically this roughly going to the same sort of cost as you would at any larger store, like a California Fresh Market or a Ralph's. We have that available as well. A lot of flexibility in the program and a lot of options as you meander across this very, very large campus. So campus is broken up into neighborhoods. The neighborhood that most first years live in, that actually all first years live in, unless they have exceptions, are going to be around Yaki Tutu. And the very large building close to when you come onto campus where you park is right by the visitor center, and there's a parking garage, and there's a very large dining complex there called Vista Grande. There's several venues around there. And then kind of there's a pattern how students eat is they migrate across campus to the academic core, and then they'll generally have lunch and so on in what we call the University Union neighborhood, or maybe the West Campus neighborhood, or potentially in our mobile restaurants. So those are all over campus, but there's a big core one right in the center, and that is 1901 Marketplace. It's another large dining complex with multiple venues. And, and there's options all over campus. And again, campus is, it's large, but there is, there's an options everywhere that you live. So mobile ordering is really critical for us. Now, we use mobile ordering very, very differently than what most people would understand as traditional Grubhub out in the community. So what we do is we don't charge a fee for Grubhub online ordering. There are no costs passed on to you. We cover that cost. What we use it for, excuse me, is a way for you to pre-order your food. Our volumes are extremely high, and you may have a limited amount of time to eat a meal, especially at lunch. And as we've discussed, our venues are 100% retail, so we're making food to order just like a restaurant. So think of a restaurant that maybe has a waiting room that you have to wait. Well, we're making food to order. So what we do is we use mobile ordering as a virtual waiting room. So when it's very busy for lunch, you can pre-order your food from your dorm, or excuse me, from your classroom or from wherever you are, and it gives you a notification of how long it will take to make that food. It will notify you that it's being prepared. It will notify you when it's ready. So what really works as a students love is it gives them time back so that they can better manage, their time not waiting in a line for food. On a very, very busy day here, we can feed upwards of 25 to 26,000 people, and our actual physical lines for food are very, very small as part of the week of welcome and a lot of the work that we do with students in the very beginning of their orientation the school year. We'll teach them how to use this system. We'll show them all the advantages, and we'll get them really, really ready for when that first week of school hits. They'll be here for week of welcome. They'll have everything loaded, prepared, and they'll be very much ready to kind of navigate this very, very large campus and focus on their studies. Kaitlin?
All right. So I want to talk today about some of the special features of our dining program. Jess really touched on a lot of the big features, but we also like to add in a lot of fun and, engaging events and variety to our program. So we have local food trucks that we feature on campus. This is a huge hit with students. And like Jess said, you can use your dining dollars at these food trucks. We also have a chef's table feature at our Streets restaurant in Vista Grande. So this is just a way for our chefs to get creative, do some more upscale or maybe trending recipe ideas. And again, students really love that. We have something called Poly Produce, which is kind of like a pop-up farmers market every week with fresh produce available. And students give their feedback on what types of fruits and vegetables they'd like to see at this farm stand. And we listen to that and then we plan accordingly. We have our Via Carta outdoor space at Campus Market. So this area has been completely redone in the last few years and is a really nice, inviting space on campus. It's where we host our Santa Maria style barbecue every Wednesday. And this is a campus tradition and something really unique to our campus. So we encourage students to check that out. And then we also offer free engagement events every month, sometimes more than once a month. So we advertise these on our social media channels, in our newsletter called The Dish, which we'll talk more about. So lots of things going on within campus dining to keep students engaged and build community around food. And then staying on track, Jess touched on this as well, but we offer a balance tracker tool on our website. This is really handy for students or supporters. You can log on to our website at any time, view the balance tracker. It will tell you what week we are in the quarter and what your balance should roughly be to stay on track. You can compare that to your actual balance or your student's actual balance, and then you'll have an idea of where you stand with your dining dollars. This is something really nice to keep track of, especially going into that change period that we have during fall quarter, to see if it may be appropriate to change your plan at that time. We also offer value items integrated into our menus across campus. So we really aim to provide a diverse set of price points in all of our menus. And we denote value items as their own menu in Grubhub when you're doing the mobile ordering. So it's really easy to find them for students who may be seeking more of those value items. And then we, of course, also take dietary considerations into account. We use a series of icons on our menus. You can see them here. So we have a VG for vegan foods, a V for vegetarian foods, an AG for avoiding gluten. And I'll talk more about avoiding gluten on one of the next slides. We offer certified halal chicken at several dining venues, and you can see this denoted with this halal symbol here. During in-person ordering in the Grubhub app, we usually just list out that it's halal. And then we also offer certified kosher grab-and-go items at our Grand Avenue Market. And we even have a certified kosher food truck, which is a really unique offering. And it's open for lunch and dinner on our campus to help meet lots of diverse dietary needs. And then Meet Your Dietitian. Of course, this is me. Hello, we've met. I work heavily with students with any number of dietary restrictions, food allergies, medical conditions. So if you fall into that category, please reach out to me if you haven't already. My email is there, wellness@calpoly.edu. We have a collaborative process to, offer accommodations through the Disability Resource Center on campus. I can provide food tours and general resources around navigating campus dining with a dietary restriction. Something we're really proud to offer is our Balance Cafe. So Balance Cafe is located in the Vista Grande Dining Pavilion. It's one of the restaurants there. And Balance provides an inclusive dining experience for those with food allergies and celiac disease because it excludes the top 9 most common allergen foods as well as gluten. So Balance has its own dedicated kitchen that you can see a little bit in that picture, its own food storage. We train our staff carefully to prevent cross contact with any of those allergen foods. So it's really a safe place for students with those types of food allergies to dine. And then our Avoiding Gluten program. So, Balance Cafe is really taking high-level strict precautions to exclude gluten and prevent cross-contact. But we also know that there's students who might be looking for, menu items without gluten, but don't require that level of, of precautions. So that's where our Avoiding Gluten program comes in. These are essentially menu items that don't contain gluten by recipe. However, they are not certified gluten-free because they are prepared in shared kitchens. But we denote these menu items with an AG icon on our menus. So more information about that can be found on our website, or again, just reach out to me. And then, like I mentioned, we do offer meal plan accommodations if a student requires it. The best place to start with that is either to reach out to me, or you can go ahead and submit an application on the DRC website. The website's listed there, drc.calpoly.edu. And then our Mustang Meal Share program, we really like to mention this because it's a wonderful program we've been running for a number of years, and it essentially supports Cal Poly students who are experiencing food insecurity and allows students on a dining plan to donate any extra dining dollars or excess dollars at the end of the quarter or year to the Mustang Meal Share program. And then those dollars get converted to vouchers for students in need. So we run campaigns for this program throughout the year, and students really, get a lot out of that. And then we also have something new as of last year, and these are our food delivery robots. So Jess talked a lot about Grubhub. We have partnered with Grubhub and Starship Technologies to bring this delivery service on campus. So students can actually order food at select venues through Grubhub and then have it delivered via this robot delivery service. So it's really convenient. Students love it. The only thing is that you cannot use your dining dollars for the delivery fee for these robots, since we really want to make sure those dining dollars are going towards actual food and not delivery fees. But that being said, if a student is looking for that option, we have it on campus. And then we'll touch on Reuse Pass. So this is one of our sustainability initiatives. Because our program is very heavily takeout food, we use a lot of single-use containers. We're trying to, mitigate our waste generated from this program with this Reuse Pass program. So students have the option to order their food at several venues in the reusable box, and then they can return it at several return bins across campus. It's very seamless. It links right to their account. You don't get charged for the container unless you fail to turn it in. So we really like to raise awareness of this and help advance our sustainability initiatives within campus dining. And then we also have some buffet style venues. While our program is heavily retail based, like Jess explained, we still do have a couple of more of those, as close to those traditional dining hall feel venues as we can get. So we have something called 1901 Kitchen, and we have something called Vista Grande Express. These are, of course, separated in our two main large dining buildings, and they allow students to pay one flat door price, and then they get basically one trip through a very large buffet where they can fill that reusable box that you see there with as much food essentially as fits in that box. So this is a really well-rounded offering and a really great value for students who may be, have those bigger appetites or really looking for a lot of bang for their buck with their meals. All right, Jess, I'll turn it back over to you.
So we've got we've got a big team here. We are the largest employer of student associates on campus. So I got a great, very flexible offer if your first year needs work. And we employ over 1,000 associates, about 850 to 900 students, and then a couple hundred full-time folks, along with a management team. And really we're here for you. I mean, our reason to be here is to help make sure that your student journey is as successful as possible. It's not just about feeding people. So we just encourage folks to reach out and talk to us, especially if they have anything that they don't understand or they're curious about, or they've got a concern, or whether they understand resources. But our role is to be here for you, and we're very, very accessible. You'll see us in the venues. And so again, we always get concerned if someone is unhappy with something and maybe they don't reach out to us for a while, because we can probably solve it, and we just work together. So again, just make sure you understand that we are very, very accessible, and we're here for you. So questions, obviously can't answer, but you can reach out to us directly, Dine on Campus. These are direct numbers as well. We get back to you very, very fast. These lines are all monitored. There's no call lines or call centers. We're responding immediately. Next question. And then this is how we really stay in the know, or excuse me, next slide. So visit our dining website, Dine on Campus. We've mentioned it a couple times. Follow us on social media. Social media is where we share what we're doing with our students. We do a lot of fun events, as Kaitlin spoke about. Really the reality of it is you're here 240 some days a year, no matter how much variety we have and how big of a program we have. We're always trying to, just do fun things and, make it more than just about, grabbing a meal. And one of the areas, this is something you should definitely subscribe to. It's called The Dish. We have well over 30,000 subscribers, but we're going to push a lot of information out there about relevant dates, the change period, rollover, to check your balances, special events, just some of the fun things we're sharing. But definitely scan that QR, sign up. It's a great way to basically stay in the know, especially if you're a parent or supporter. And then follow us on social media. You're going to see your students there, having fun, hanging out. We share menu items for coming up and just a lot of the fun things that we're doing. And Kaitlin, I think that pretty much wraps it up.
That's all we have. We look forward to dining with you.
Yep. All right.
Jess, Kaitlin, thanks so much for that wonderful presentation. I got to learn a lot myself, and it's a good lesson for those of us who work on campus, that always there's more information out there, and it's great for me to learn about some of these things as well. So thanks so much. While you were giving the presentation, we did get some questions from parents and supporters that are waiting in the queue. Let me look through those really quick and try and maybe condense a few. I notice parents and supporters have a lot of questions, so let me try and synthesize some of these to bring them together here. Okay, all right. What are typical price ranges per meal, and how does Cal Poly pricing compare with other California campuses? And then a second part of that is, what additional affordability supports exist beyond the meal voucher plan?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great question. We get that commonly. So again, a very non-traditional program, being 100% retail, like we talked about in the presentation. We have over 1,200 menu items, sort of even outside of our markets. That's food we prepare. So they are just, since they're all retail, they do vary in price greatly. So full meals can be anywhere from an average of, and this doesn't include, snacks and all that. There's a lot more of those, but $8.95 up to $13.95, depending on the item, just like you would in any restaurant style venue. So it's really up to the, the person to, they've got a lot of choices, and we do notate value menus and things. So you've got a really good way to budget and keep track of what your spend is. Our prices are very much in line with what would be traditional restaurants or fast casual restaurants out in the community. So you won't see them necessarily, higher or lower, again, very much retail. As far as other campuses, we're very comparable, but again, our program is just fundamentally different in the fact that it's all retail. So it's, there are no swipes. And so it does require, that you budget a bit. As far as the, beyond the meal voucher program, we also have Cal Poly Cares, which the university can assist students in need if they qualify. And our meal plans are structured also to really assist in that process as well. So you can get CARES as a supplement if you qualify. We also have Mustang Meal Share, which is a donation-driven program that students and supporters then can go into a fund, and then that is administered by the university through the meal voucher program and other avenues to support students in need.
Wow, great. Some great information in there. As I was listening to you, I was trying to synthesize some more of these questions here. And I think when parents and supporters are thinking about the meal plans and what their students might be using, one of the questions that we get a lot, and that I see here in this queue as well, is when students are living off campus, right? And so can meal plan funds be used off campus? Where exactly? And how does that work for sophomores and students living off campus?
Sure, I'm happy to take that one. Yeah, we get this question a lot too. And sadly, meal plan funds cannot be used off campus. They're strictly for our many, many venues that we have here at Cal Poly's campus. But many sophomore continuing students, second, third, fourth year students do purchase continuing meal plans or community dining plans that they can use when they're on campus, since even if you're living off campus, most likely you're spending a significant amount of your day on campus during the academic year. And so students do find that having that community meal plan can be really convenient when they're on campus.
Thanks, Kaitlin. Awesome. What I heard you and Jess, Kaitlin and Jess talk about in these questions as well, what came up is students budgeting, right? So we have these students who are leaving home for maybe the first time and coming in and learning how to budget these funds. And it's true that some students don't know how much they're going to use in that first quarter, right? So they're figuring things out. And as they figure things out and get better at this, one of the questions that they might be thinking about is what happens to unused dining funds at the end of a quarter and at the end of the academic year? Maybe what rolls over and what expires?
Sure. So up to $500 automatically rolls over quarter to quarter during the academic year. So that's a nice cushion for students who may have a little bit of extra in their account. And then at the end of the academic year, you can roll over up to $500 to your second year, as long as you purchase what's called a community dining plan for your second year. These are much smaller than first year dining plans. They start as low as $275, and then they go up from there in different denominations. So you can purchase one of those smaller plans or larger if you like, and then all of your dollars up to $500 will roll over for your use in your second year.
Oh, great. Good things to know. Good things to know. This next question here, quite a few people asked it. I kind of shrunk it down into one question here. What student employment opportunities are available with campus dining, and what plan options and typical costs should first-year students expect?
Yeah, so let's start kind of with the first half. We are the largest commercial service on campus, so therefore we are the actually the largest employer of what is called part-time under 20 associates, i.e. students. So we actually hire close to 850 students basically on our staff at one time, and then there's some rotation with that. So we actually employ over 1,000 students during the course of a school year. It is very schedule based. So what we do is we have sort of a grid system that students assist our culinary team and our other full-time staff, in various tasks and, preparing the food and so on. And it's based on what fits your schedule. So it's incredibly flexible. And, we really just work with students. But what I want to be very clear is when they work for Cal Poly Dining, they are Cal Poly Dining associates. And our team is very adept at this. May be the first job for a lot of these, and, for a lot of these first years that are coming on board. So we really do, try to prepare them and, make sure that we're working them as though they were, regular associates and, having to come in on time, cover their shifts and all those things, so we try to prepare them for maybe what they may face in the professional world as well. But again, more students the merrier, and we're the funnest place to work ever, right? You get a free meal. It's super busy, but we make it fun. And the students are an integral part of our ability to operate and serve the rest of the Cal Poly community. So as far as plan options and typical costs that first year students expect when it comes to dining is, again, based on your meal options, it's really just about budgeting smart. And we have a lot of tools that assist students with that. We talked about that a little bit in the slow days presentation, but we're constantly just trying to remind first years where they should be, so that, because what you don't want to do is, let's say you are running low on funds, you don't ever want to end up at the study week or finals week suddenly out of money. So I think the things to really expect there's not unexpected costs, but it's more of just trying to get to a good routine very early in the year, and your wow leaders and everything that our marketing team does and our team will do will always try to assist you in making sure you know where you need to be.
Great, some good information there. Jess, one thing that I wanted to ask about students working with campus dining, where can they find those postings or job postings?
Yes, what is the exact address? I want to make sure I don't misstate it.
On our website, dineoncampus.com/Cal Poly is a wealth of information with lots of information, but one of the tabs on there is our jobs tab, employment tab, and you can see the application there. And I believe it gives you an option if a student has a specific preference on which dining venue they want to work in, they want to work in coffee or whatever that may be, they can note that, and then, we'll do our best to place them for their preference. But yes, you can absolutely apply online and our HR team will get back to them promptly.
Thanks, Kaitlin. Awesome. Parent supporters, you've asked so many great questions. We just have time for one more. And so I'm going to choose one of them here that's in the queue. The last question we're going to answer here is, can you switch meal plans?
Yeah, so when you initially select your meal plan, that usually happens, early in summer, and it's part of all this paperwork you're doing, and then suddenly, you start talking to us at slow days, and you're like, oh, I chose the wrong plan. So we do allow flexibility in the summer, but once actually school, about 2 weeks before school begins, plans are locked in the beginning of school. However, there is a change period, and that is October 16th to November 13th. We'll send out plenty of notifications for that. A lot of, it's a very simple administrative form. You fill out online, you submit it, and then all the changes are made behind the scenes and all the balances are reconciled. And so it's very seamless. So you can move your plan up, you can move your plan down. It's your choice. And what we find is that students get into a routine very, very quickly within the first 2 or 3 weeks of school into their spending patterns. So they learn very fast whether the meal plan is not big enough, or maybe it's too large based on their preferences and so on. Once those meal plans are completed, the changes are made by November 13th. They are locked in. And again, just with the amount of meal plans we have close to 10,500. We have to sort of get them settled and locked in. Just the administrative ability to keep track of all those. But so it's really critical. We'll send out a lot of information and a lot of ahead of time, take a look at your balances, watch your patterns and so on, just so that they make an informed decision, during that change period.
Yeah, thanks for that, Jess. One thing that stuck out what you said there is that you send out plenty of messaging, right? And so parents and supporters, that here at Parent Family Programs, we want to help you help your student help themselves, right? So mentioning to your students when you're asking questions about meal plans, about dining, students are receiving emails about deadlines and dates like Jess just mentioned. So make sure that our students are checking those emails. That's an easy way for them to have their autonomy, but you give them some support by encouraging them to look at their emails, open those emails so that they know what's going on around campus and with these really important things like meal plans, right? Okay.
Yeah, and the dish is a great avenue that we spoke about that, but the dish is, I suggest subscribing to that. Like we kind of showed you that link in the slow days presentation. It's on social media. We do send a lot of messaging out, but it does, it gets missed because there's a lot. So The dish for a parent or supporter is a great avenue. We send out regular updates, and critical updates are always very prominently featured in that.
Awesome. Thanks so much for mentioning that. And thank you, Jess and Kaitlin, for sharing your insights and for the outstanding work you and the campus dining team do. Your efforts play a vital role in supporting student success at Cal Poly. And as we wrap up, remember that campus dining's resources are here to help students eat well, manage budgets, and find options that fit their needs. If you have any other questions or need more information, please contact the campus dining team or visit the campus dining website for hours, locations, and plan details. And thank you all for joining us today. And a special thanks again to Kaitlin and Jess for your time and expertise.
Thank you.
Thank you.